Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for July 17th. We have, let's see, myself, Sheila, Maggie, Bill, and Henry here today. As I said in the description of this video, we were going to do a scene from Twelfth Night and then whatever else comes up on the wheel. A lot of people said they weren't able to make it. And let's see, I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, since we've only have 6 people here. And there's 5 people in that scene. I think the voters did decide that my 2 suggestions of scenes from Henry V got 2 votes. The Twelfth Night scene got 3 votes. So we were going to do that today. We'll plan to do that next Saturday on top, assuming more people show up. And for today, we'll just do our monologues plus whatever, plus a couple randomly determined smaller scenes to cover the 6 of us that are here. So based on the randomly determined order, let's see, Henry is up first. Get the wheel up and get Henry in the Okay, so Henry will perform first. Let's see, and Sheila is on deck. So Henry's going to perform, Sheila is on deck, and Henry will perform. Titania, these are the forgeries of jealousy. Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 1, approximately 81 lines in.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I got it. Right.
Okay, you got it? Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
These are the forgeries of jealousy. And never since the middle summer's spring met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved fountain, or by rushy brook, or in the beached margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land have every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain. The ploughman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and crows are fatted with the murrian flock. The 9 men's morris is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green, for lack of tread, are undistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with hymn or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, that rheumatic diseases do abound. And thorough this distemperature we see the seasons alter, hoary-headed frosts far in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on the old hime's thin and icy crown an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is, as in mockery, set. The spring, the summer, the chiding autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world by their increase now knows not which is which, and this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original.
Very nice. A lot of energy in that one. Awesome. Okay, so Shelia, you are up now, and Shelia is going to perform. And I'm on deck after Shelia. Pandarus, a good. I think. Oh, this is the this. We have Ted to thank for this one. Ted suggested we add this one. I think it's the very end of the play. It's like the epilogue. Pandarus delivers the epilogue.
Oh my goodness, Ted should read this.
I think Ted did do this one.
Yes, he did.
I mean, I may be remembering when it's Ted's turn. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but my recollection is that Ted spun wild card. He got to choose anything. He chose this one and did it. And so in his doing it, I realized this is a good one. I should put it on the wheel for other people to do as well.
It's a rare occasion when I'm aware of the particular monologue. So I'm saying, oh boy, all right, this will be something new for me.
I believe it's the very end of the play.
Yes.
So whenever you're ready, go ahead with that.
Ah, goodly medicine for my aching bones. Oh, world, thus is the poor agent despised. Oh, traitors and bawds, how earnestly are you set a work, and how ill requited. Why should our endeavor be so loved, and the performance so loathed? What verse for it? What instance for it? Let me see. Full merrily the humble bee doth sing, till he hath lost his honey and his sting, and being once subdued in armed tale, sweet honey and sweet notes together fail. Good traders in the flesh, set this in your painted cloths, as many as be here of Pandarus' hall. Your eyes half out weep out at Pandarus' fall. Or, if you cannot weep, yet give some groans, though not for me, yet for your aching bones, brethren and sisters of the hold-door trade. Some 2 months hence my will shall be here made. It should be now, but that my fear is this. Some galled goose of Winchester would hiss. Till then I'll sweat and seek about for eases, and at that time bequeath you my diseases.
Okay, very good. So it is my turn now, and then Bill is on deck. Bill's going to go after me, but first I will perform. Okay, this will be fun. I think Bill's done this one before, and I don't think I've done it before, so it'll be fun. Okay, here we go. Here's a knocking, indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time, have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock! Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator! Knock, knock, knock! Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor come hither for stealing out a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon! Anon! I pray you, remember the porter. Okay. All right, Bill, you're up. And Bill is going to do... Okay, Jupiter at the end of Cymbeline, Act 5, Scene 4, when Jupiter comes in. Didn't get the line number down, but I think that shouldn't be too hard to find.
Well, I do not know Cymbeline. So what's going on in this scene?
This is, all hell is broken loose with everything. God, it's hard for me to remember the specifics. This is just where the god Jupiter descends and passes his judgment on the characters, everything that's happened in the play up to this point. It's kind of the ultimate deus ex machina of God literally coming down to set things right. Where I think Pisanio is that stole the ring to make Posthumus think that to make Immogen Posthumus think that Immogen was unfaithful, and a lot of side stories in that the craziness had happened, and the British have invaded, and Posthumus, I believe, is in prison, and I think I believe it's Posthumus's prison cell where the god Jupiter visits him in the ultimate Deus Ex Machina. If anybody else has any further, that's funny. I was in this play, even, but not this part of it. Did my character play a role, Belarius? So I don't know if that helps any, but if anybody else
it does. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else to help out, they'll put it in the private chat. But have you found it? You're ready to go?
Does it start with the words "no more"?
I believe so. No more, you petty. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. No more, you petty spirits of region low, offend our hearing. Hush! How dare you ghosts accuse the thunderer, whose bolt sky-planted batters all rebelling coasts? Poor shadows of Elysium, hence, and rest upon your never withering banks of flowers. Be not with mortal accidents oppressed. No care of yours it is. You know 'tis ours, whom best I love I cross, to make my gift the more delighted. Be content. Your low-laid son of our Godhead will uplift, his comforts thrive, his trials well are spent. Our jovial star reigned at his birth, and in our temple was he married. Rise and fade. He shall be lord of Lady Immogen, and happier much by his affliction made. This tablet lay upon his breast, wherein our treasure his full fortune doth confine. And so, away. No further with your din express impatience, lest you stir up mine. Mount, eagle, to my palace, crystalline. Scene.
Okay, very nice. I'm sorry I forgot to announce it, but Maggie is up next. We have 2 more players left, Maggie, and then we'll do Maggie and then Ted, and then we'll switch to the scenes. And okay, so Maggie is going to perform, and then Ted will be last after her. And it ends in how sharper than a serpent's tooth. I went by I put the famous. Usually what I put there to help people is the first line, and it confused people last week when they did "I am ashamed that women are so simple," because that's the famous line from it, but that actually fell in the middle, not at the beginning of the speech, and this falls at the end of the speech.
It's way down, because if it's a long scene.
What's that? It's toward the end of
you're
the scene.
You're saying it says, yeah, okay. So does it ends, is it to Goneril or?
To Goneril, I believe it's to Goneril.
So you said it ends with what? I'm sorry?
It ends with how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is.
Okay, hang on then. That's not the one. Okay, it's short one.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yes.
So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
It may be so, my lord. Here, nature, here, dear goddess, here. Suspend thy purpose if thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful. Into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her derogate body never spring a babe to honor her. If she must teem, create her child of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in her brow of youth, with cadent tears fret channels in her cheeks. Turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Away, away!
Yeah. Short one, but a lot of passion in that. And
it's at the pinnacle, so
you brought it out very well. Okay, so lastly, before we switch to scenes, we have Ted, and Ted is going to perform. Is this the dagger I see before me? Great. Act 2, Scene 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
What's that?
Can you hear? Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as this which I now draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from that time, which now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. Scene.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so now
I
we're going to
go. It is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Sorry, if I didn't know you were going to do that last part.
Sorry, I didn't see that last part.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Some people would in the monologue with that. Some people would skip it. I thought you were skipping it, so I'm sorry if I cut you off. Anyway, so now we'll move on to scenes. I mentioned this before. People just joining us. I had mentioned. I even said it in the description for the video. We were going to do the scene from Twelfth Night where Malvolio breaks up the party and makes everybody hate him and plan the idiocy they're going to do to him in the future. But we're missing. Quite a few people weren't able to join us this week. We only got 6 people. That would be 5, and then only one person would be left. That was what we voted on. We'll do it next week so that we'll just spin the wheel for the shorter scenes, enough to accommodate the 6 actors that we've got with us today. So here's what we'll do with the 6 of us. The first couple actors will do. Oh, we're stuck on Macbeth. Yeah, Act 1 seems like a great scene. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Cymbeline, Act 3, Scene 2. This is Pisanio and Immogen. And I believe Pisanio is the Italian who's going to steal from the ring to make Posthumus believe that Immogen was unfaithful. So Cymbeline 3.2. Let me write that. Pisanio and Immogen. And one more scene to get the last 2 actors. Antony and Cleopatra. Act 4, Scene 7, Menas and Pompey. And somebody might need to help me out. I can't quite recall what's going on in this scene either. But anyway, let's see. So that's 6 roles for the 6 of us, and we'll determine the choice, the order of that we get to choose from right now. And once again, what we're choosing from, if you get first choice, you got the 6 roles for the 6 of us, and you go to Macbeth or Lady Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 7. You can do Pisanio or Immogen in Act 3, Scene 2 of Cymbeline, or you could do Menas or Pompey in Act 4, Scene 7 of Antony and Cleopatra. So there's only 6 of us. Let me add the names of the people that are here. Okay, so the first choice among those 6 roles will be okay, Ted, what would you like to be?
I'll stick with Macbeth.
Okay, cool. I'll take Pisanio in Cymbeline 3.2.
I would like to read Lady Macbeth, but I also want to tell you that Henry and Maggie need to leave soon. So whatever they're doing.
Okay, you forgot. I was going to tell you that. I saw what Henry said that. Henry says he has to leave by 1. So whatever scene, I'll just make sure that one goes first. But with the fewer people, we might get done by 1 anyway. Did Maggie say what time? Let me get Maggie in.
1:15.
1:15. Okay, so good. So I'll make sure that if they get in the same scene, it'll be even better. But I'll make sure that that we first take care of Henry's scene and then Maggie's.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheila, which one did you said? Lady Macbeth?
Yes, I'll do that with Ted.
Okay. Bill, what would you like?
How about Pompey?
Pompey. Okay, so Maggie and Henry, one of them will get to choose between Immogen or Menas. Henry, what did you like?
Immogen, please.
What's that?
Immogen, please.
Immogen. And so that means, who wasn't this 1 minute? So Maggie will be Menas. So based on the time constraints that we had just talked about, Henry, okay, so Henry is with me in the Cymbeline scene. So we'll do that one first. Let me create the banner and then let's find it. And then after that, then we'll do the Antony and Cleopatra scene since Maggie's in that one and she has to go next. Okay, I got the scene. Are you ready, Henry?
Yes.
Okay. How of adultery? Wherefore write you not what monsters her accuser? Leonatus, O master, what a strange infection has fallen into thine ear. What false Italian as poison tongue as handed hath prevailed, O thy too ready hearing? Disloyal? No. She's punished for her truth, and undergoes more goddess-like than wife-like, such assaults as would take in some virtue. O my master, thy mind to her is now as low as were thy fortunes. How that I should murder her, upon the love and truth and vows which I have made to thy command. I, her blood? If it be so to do good service, never let me be counted serviceable. How look I that I should seem to lack humanity as much as this fact comes to? Do it. The letter that I have sent her by her own command shall give the opportunity. Oh, damn paper! Black as the ink that's on thee. Senseless babble, art thou Theodore for this act, and look so virgin-like without? Lo, here she comes. I am ignorant in what I am commanded.
How now, Pisanio?
Madam, here is a letter from my lord.
Who? Thy lord? That is my lord, Leonatus. Oh, land indeed, where the astronomer that knew the stars as I his characters. He'll lay the future open. You good gods, let what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable. That is one of them, for it doth physic love. Of his content, all but in that. Good wax thy leave. Blessed be you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike. Though forfeiters you cast in prison, yet you clasp young Cupid's tables. Good news, gods! Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you, oh, the dearest of creatures, would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise, you follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow, and you're increasing in his love. Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a horse with wings! Hearest thou, Pisanio? He is at Milford Haven. Read and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one man mean affairs may plod it in a week, why may not I gild thither in a day? Then, true Pisanio, who longest like me to see thy lord, who longest let me bait, but not like me, yet longest but in a fairer kind. Oh, not like me, for mine's beyond say and speak thick, for love's counsellor should fill the bores of hearing to the smothering of the senses. How far it is to this same blessed Milford, and by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit a haven. But first of all, how may we steal from hence, and from the gap that we shall make in time for our hence going and our return to excuse? But first, how get hence? Why should excuse be born and heir be got? We'll talk of that thereafter. Prithee, speak, how many score of miles may we ride? May we well ride twixt hour and hour?
1 score twixt sun and sun, madam, is enough for you. Too much, too.
Why, one that rode to's execution, man, could never go so slow. I have heard of riding wages where horses have been nimbler than the sands that run in the clock's behalf. But this is foolery. Go bid my woman feign her sickness, and say she'll home to her father, and provide me presently a riding suit, no costlier than would fit a Franklin's housewife.
Madam, your best consider.
I see before me, man, not here, nor what ensues, but have a fog in them that I cannot look through. Away, I prithee, do as I bid. There's no more to say. Accessible is none, but Milford way. Okay,
Good job, Henry. I actually screwed up quite a bit on that one, but I think it makes a point that I've been mentioning, why, some people say when you're unprepared, you see something, you're doing it totally cold. I mean, that's part of it. That's why it's the Wheel of Shakespeare challenge. I think I was giving wrong information. I was thinking, I don't know if you saw when I was reading the letter, I was thinking that Pisanio was the person that did that devious plot to make Posthumus think that Immogen was unfaithful. And I was reading it as if that was my character. In the middle of reading the letter, I realized my mistake, and that's also part of it. Can you make a mistake? Can you recover early? How well do you remember it? I forgot. It was Pisanio was the servant of Posthumus who, based on what the other character, whose name is still eluding me, did, has ordered him to kill Immogen. So that's yeah. So I did screw that up, but I tried to adjust. I hope that came across well. But again, that's part of the game. That's part of the not being ready. So next we'll do the Antony and Cleopatra scene. So Maggie and Bill are Menas and Pompey. Let me create the map. Have you both found the scene? You know where it is?
Not at all. I have no idea.
A different act, and it's in the chat, Bill.
Well, I'm looking at Act 2, Scene 7, but there's several other characters.
Yeah, but if you scroll down a ways, it gets to a point where it's just the two of them. So there's Mark Antony, Lepidus, Mark Antony, Octavius Caesar, Mark Antony, and then there's Pompey and Menas. Yeah, exactly. Actually, there's a lot of other characters.
Right. So where do we begin?
There's a little bit of Mark. Yeah, no, sorry. Here's another kind of a issue, Mark, is there's a bunch of other people in the scene.
Oh yeah,
There's one section that it's basically the two of them, but it kind of depends on what the other actors are saying.
If you're having, I mean, I should have prepared for this one. I mean, if you guys are, I think I looked at, because I remember it's a good exchange between the two of them. I think it's where Menas says, "Pompey, I'd like to assassinate them right now," and he says, you know, "Why didn't you just do it? If you'd done it, I would have thanked you for it. But since you asked permission, I have to say no." I think that's what, and it's a good scene, but between the two of them. But I guess if it's interrupt, I remember that being. I now I remember what it is. I guess I remembered that little exchange well enough to think it would have been a good scene, and forgot that there were other characters that messes it. So if it's, I'll probably take another look at it and see if there's a way I can give instructions for the scene if it comes up again and put it back on the wheel. But otherwise, if you guys,
it's pretty complicated, I got to tell you. But there's one short section where it's just the two of them back and forth. If you want, I don't know.
If it's too difficult for you to cut, or you don't want to do that short section, it's up to the two of you. If you like me to spin again for
you have one that you feel is a little more reliable, you know, it's for sure only two people, that'd be great.
Bill, is that what you like?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's spin it. So Maggie and Bill don't feel. I'm going to take another look at that scene and see if there's.
There are really like three other people that come in, Lepidus and Caesar, and.
Let's find another scene for the two of them to do.
Otherwise, we'd wing it. Well, I better look at what I'm doing, huh?
As you like it. So Rosalind, Celia, and Duke Frederick are in this one too. So
did you not get a part? Did you just weren't you supposed to be in that scene with Henry, and you actually didn't have any words?
I had some. You want me to be Duke Frederick? I think the Duke only comes in briefly. It's mostly a scene between Rosalind and Celia.
It's up to you. If you know he's a little bit.
Or why don't we spin again for one that's just two characters to get just the two of you. Because I have technically already gone. I don't want to take more than my share of.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. This is a good one for one man and one woman. Margaret, Suffolk, and Henry VI.
We can't see it. We can't see the wheel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put it back in. Yeah, so I forgot to add it to the screen. It's at Henry VI part.
Oh, yeah.
Very good scene where Suffolk captures her and says, "I'm going to arrange her marriage to the king." And she's going to be
Henry VI, Scene 1, Act 1, Scene 5.
Act 5. No, it's Henry VI, Part 1, Act 5, Scene 3.
I missed again. I'm not looking at it, so I have Henry VI, Part 1, Act.
Act 5, Scene 3.
Okay, thank you. You want to flip what are we doing, Bill? Who's doing what?
Well, I'd rather take the male character if you don't mind.
Okay, I don't mind. Yeah, this
One male, one female makes sense. So
yeah, it's fine with
Margaret
me.
And her name is Margaret, so.
Yes, appropriate. I have to try to put my youthful self on because she's pretty young. Okay.
Okay, so whenever you guys are ready, this is
Do you know where we're starting, Maggie?
I do. It says, Alarum enters Suffolk with Margaret in his hand.
Yes. Be what thou wilt, thou art my prisoner. Oh, fairest beauty, do not fear nor fly, for I will touch thee, but with reverent hands. I kiss these fingers for eternal peace, and lay them gently on thy tender side. Who art thou? Say that I may honor thee.
Margaret my name, and daughter to a king, the king of Naples, whosoe'er thou art.
An earl I am, and Suffolk am I called. Be not offended, nature's miracle. Thou art allotted to be tamed by me. So doth the swan her downy cygnets save, keeping them prisoner underneath her wings. Yet, if this servile usage once offend, go and be free again as Suffolk's friend. Oh, stay. I have no power to let her pass. My hand would free her, but my heart says no, as plays the sun upon the glassy streams, twinkling another counterfeited beam. So seems this gorgeous beauty to mine eyes. Fain would I woo her, yet I dare not speak. I'll call for pen and ink and write my mind. Fie, de la Pole, disable not thyself. Hast not a tongue? Is she not here? Wilt thou be daunted at a woman's sight? Aye, beauty's princely majesty is such, confounds the tongue and makes the senses rough.
Say, Earl of Suffolk, if thy name be so, what ransom must I pay before I pass? For I perceive I am thy prisoner.
How canst thou tell me she will deny thy suit before thou make a trial of her love?
Why speakst thou not? What ransom must I pay?
She is beautiful, and therefore to be wooed. She is a woman, therefore to be won.
Wilt thou accept of ransom, yea or no?
Fond man, remember that thou hast a wife. Then how can Margaret be thy paramour?
I were best to leave him, for he will not hear.
There all is marred. There lies a queen card.
He talks at random. Sure, the man is mad.
And yet a dispensation may be had.
And yet I would that you would answer me.
Will this Lady Margaret, for whom? Why, for my king. Gosh, that's a wooden thing.
He talks of wood. It is some carpenter.
Yet so my fancy may be satisfied and peace established between these realms, but there remains a scruple in that too. For though her father be king of Naples, Duke of Anjou and Maine, yet he is poor, and our nobility will scorn the match.
Hear ye, captain, are you not at leisure?
It shall be so, disdain they ne'er so much. Henry is youthful and will quickly yield. Madam, I have a secret to reveal.
What though I be enthralled? He seems a knight, and will not any way dishonor me.
Lady, vouchsafe to listen what I say.
Perhaps I shall be rescued by the French, and then I need not crave his courtesy.
Sweet madam, give me a hearing in a cause.
Hush, women have been captive ere now.
Lady, wherefore talk you so?
I cry you mercy, 'tis but quid for quo.
Say, gentle princess, would you not suppose your bondage happy, to be made a queen?
To be a queen in bondage is more vile than is a slave in base servility, for princes should be free.
And so you shall, if happy England's royal king be free.
Why, what concerns his freedom unto me?
I'll undertake to make thee Henry's queen. to put a golden scepter in thy hand and set a precious crown upon thy head, if thou wilt condescend to be my
What?
his love.
I am unworthy to be Henry's wife.
No, gentle madam, I unworthy am to woo so fair a dame to be his wife, and have no portion in the choice myself. How say you, madam? Are you so content?
And if my father please, I am content.
Then call our captains and our colours forth, and madam, at your father's castle walls will crave a parley and confer with him. See?
Okay, awesome. So lastly, we have Ted and Sheila to do the Macbeth scene.
What act, what scene?
Act 1, Scene 7.
Would you like to start with Ted alone, because he's got a lot of lines before Lady Macbeth enters?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I would. I'll start with just him in the stream, where he's got a nice monologue, and then Lady Macbeth enters. He says, "We'll proceed no further in this business." I think it starts with the "If it were done when it is done" monologue. It's a good one. So you're both ready to go?
Yeah.
Let me take Sheila out and have just Ted go. And okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence, and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, will jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued, against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He hath almost stopped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale, at what it did so freely? From this time should I account thy love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemst the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Pretty peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and I know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you had done to this.
If we should fail?
Oh, we fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him. His two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limebeck only, when in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men, children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and use their very daggers that they have done't?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Awesome. Love that. I mean, probably my personal favorite of all Shakespeare's works, but that particular scene is just awesome. You know,
Oh, yes.
Anyway, so we only got 6 people, so I can get you all in the stream as we wrap up. If there's announcements for next week, I think about what, in terms of what we have upcoming. Again, if more people show up next week than this week, we'll do the longer scene that, in addition to the stun scenes that we were going to do this week, 12th night. Regarding also in terms of stuff we could have done this week, but we weren't correctly prepared for it, is I am going to, over the next week, I'm going to take a look at that Menas and Pompey scene, and since it was spun, and see if there's a way that I can make it and cut out the other characters and come up with a script that's just Menas and Pompey and so forth, and say, well, since it's spun, here is a script I come up with. And when I send the codes out, send my revised script and say, this will be one of the scenes we do too, since it was spun last week, and we'll go with this script rather than
or have it be a scene with more characters.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good scene. Is that I'm just saying?
There's something rich there,
and it'll just be one of several choices, like always. So I don't know. I'm just going to take a look at it. I don't know if it can be done, but I'll see if I can adjust it so that we can work that in. Does anybody have any announcements? I think Sheila, is it Eager Beaver? Is that tomorrow or the next?
No, it's a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow. Okay, so Henry, but nobody else has any. If nobody else has any other announcements, let's just keep in mind that's what we'll have planned for next week. We'll see you guys then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.